Today, in this session, we'll be talking about why type 1.5 diabetes occurs. That's what I'll be explaining to you. Originally, there is type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is also called insulin-dependent diabetes. What does that mean? It means you can't produce insulin in the pancreas and you die because of it. Because you can't secrete insulin. So why can't insulin be secreted? In the past, it was because of things like war or accidents, being stabbed with a knife or injured by a gunshot, for example, that the pancreas was damaged. So due to damage to the pancreas, or sometimes because of infections, the pancreas would get damaged. But how is it these days? These days, it's often due to autoimmune diseases where the immune system attacks the pancreas and causes damage, leading to a situation where insulin can't be secreted. So if you don't get insulin, you die. So when insulin was discovered and it became possible to extract it, when it could be extracted from cow or pig blood, it was truly astonishing. It was a groundbreaking event because it saved people who would have otherwise died. But this type is completely different. It's not even similar. So this type is a totally different case. What kind of case is it? Insulin doesn't work. It's somewhat insulin independent. It's just that insulin sensitivity is reduced. Insulin is produced, but the sensitivity is low. Or for example, with glucagon, say, from the adrenal glands, from adrenal hormones. In the liver, glucagon in this case is secreted from the pancreas. It converts glycogen into glucose, continuously raising blood sugar. So what does that mean? Why does it do this with blood sugar? This happens when you're under stress. Does this also happen when you can't eat? It works when you have hypoglycemia, but also when you're under stress. The adrenal glands are involved, so the adrenal glands drive this process. So, whether it's caused by stress or by eating a lot of sweets and not exercising enough, which lowers sensitivity, I've explained those details in the diabetes lecture. Because it's caused by those factors, insulin alone doesn't work either. So how was this treated in such cases? In the past, the first method was called Cheofluba, which is actually a poisonous herb. They specifically use this highly toxic botanical herb to effectively inhibit and suppress liver function, so that the liver simply couldn't produce glucose. And the second method they employed was the prolonged process of total starvation. These two crude methods, using starvation to lower blood sugar and the poisonous herb, were used without much thought. That's why people ended up dying. So what do they do these days? Now they call it medicine, but what they actually do is suppress liver function, suppress pancreatic function, and essentially starve the digestive system by suppressing its function, even to the point of suppressing heart function. This is what they do for type 2. And then something astonishing happened. What was it? By suppressing these functions, it brings you closer to type 2. So what happens with type 1? When pancreatic or liver function, especially pancreatic function, becomes lethargic and can't recover, that's when insulin should have been administered. But by suppressing those organs, it leads to type 1. So what is another name for type 1.5? It has changed to insulin dependency. Your body has become one that requires insulin injections. Who created this condition? It was caused by this medication. So these days, I meet so many people who say, I'm on insulin injections. Why is that? Because using these highly poisonous chemical substances will unfortunately render those functions entirely ineffective and powerless. They can't do their job anymore, so you end up having to inject insulin. Originally, in Li Yanhun's case, even if you inject insulin, it doesn't work. because his body still performs that function. But in this case, since that function is completely damaged, that's why insulin is needed. Everyone, you need to understand how dangerous medication can be. Recovery doesn't mean suppressing or destroying your organs to lower your numbers. You have to restore those original functions. A healthy and vibrant life starts from there. All right, I'll wrap up here.